Jake here for American Trucks, and today I'm taking a look at the Corsa closed box cold air intake with the Drytech 3D dry filter for 2019 and newer 5.3 liter Silverado 1500s. If you're looking for a quick and simple way to improve both the sound and the drivability of your newest gen Silverado without the need for a tune, then this is going to be of interest to you. This system combines some of the best benefits of a closed box intake and the convenience of a dry filter, making for better airflow and other benefits without having to dive too deep into modifications. Now, Corsa is known for high quality aftermarket bits, and with good reason. Their exhausts have long been a standard of the industry, and you can bet that that same manufacturing philosophy transfers over to their intakes as well. Now, there are a few standout features here, but let's start with what's perhaps the most obvious, and that is the closed air box. Now, similar in concept to your stock setup, having the closed air box like this helps keep the intake from pulling in hot air from around the engine bay, and instead it's going to pull colder air from outside. Now, cooler air is more dense, and more air density means better combustion, and better combustion, of course, means more power. You're also going to get a bigger volume of air coming in versus your stock airbox. Now, Corsa includes a high-velocity Venturi filter adapter right here, and that's going to help smooth out and speed up the airflow into the engine. But airflow is only as good as the filter that is attached to it. And this setup features the Drytech 3D air filter. Now, dry filters are a great choice because they're just easy, frankly. You can clean them with a little bit of compressed air to help extend their life, and they allow for lots of airflow. The Drytech filter features multi-layer media with these deep pleats to help trap dirt and debris, and the additional surface area versus your stock filter means that you're going to have more airflow going into your engine. And since this is a dry design, there is no oil to worry about here either. Just wash it out and you're ready to roll again. Now, Corsa does claim that you can go up to 50,000 miles between cleanings with this filter, but that of course is going to depend on where you live and the conditions in which you run your truck. You may have noticed it already, but there's also something cool about this airbox, jumping back to this for a moment, that's meant to help you figure out when you need to service the filter. And that is this clear plexiglass window at the top of the box. Not only does it look cool, but it also allows you to check in on the health and cleanliness of your filter without having to disassemble anything. But it is totally sealed up. There is a weather sealing behind this, so it's going to help keep intake temperatures low and avoid heat soak. Then we also have the intake tube itself, and that is this big ABS plastic tube. Unlike most stock intakes, it's totally smooth. There's no accordion bits here, and due to the nature of its construction, you are going to get some added sound and resonance when you put the pedal down. So between that and the resonance of the airbox itself, you're going to get a nice little growl when you open up the throttle. And the good part about intakes is that the sound isn't obtrusive at all when you're just cruising around under partial throttle applications. You really only hear it when you're absolutely wail on it. Now, since this is a no tune required intake, you can just bolt this on and get on the road. However, I do say that with the caveat that this is not going to bring you huge horsepower numbers. That's not the goal here. But you are going to notice a difference in the response and the drivability of your truck overall. And of course, if you want to take full advantage of an improved intake setup, going with a custom tune is certainly something that you can do. This also pairs very nicely with an aftermarket exhaust. Pricing will come in around $425 for this setup, and that is pretty closely aligned with some of the other closed box air intakes on the market. This is of course going to give you a bit of a different driving experience, as well as that additional sound versus stock, plus the improved airflow. And like I mentioned earlier, this is a high quality setup. You get that nice plexiglass window at the top too, so it looks good in your engine bay, and it's going to make a difference in how your truck drives. As far as installation is concerned, this is going to get a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter. Like most intakes, this is a simple bolt-in installation, and it should take you about an hour to get it done. Definitely a job you can accomplish at home with common hand tools, and everything that you need, including new boots and all the clamps that you need, are included in the box. And with that, let's head on over to the install bay now, where we'll show you the process.
The tools you'll need for this project are a Phillips head screwdriver, a trim removal tool, a T15 and a T20 Torx bit, an 8mm socket, a 10mm socket, an extension, and a ratchet. Hi everyone, today we're installing a cold air intake on our Silverado, but before we get started with that, let's watch a quick video on how to uninstall the stock system, and we'll see you back here when you're done.
Getting started, we need to obviously pop our hood here on our Silverado, and then first step is to unplug your mass airflow sensor. You're gonna wanna pull back on this red clip and then release the plug. So again, slide the red portion back. At that point, you can release the clip. Next up, we're going to work on removing the intake tube portion of the factory intake. Getting started, we can loosen up our clamp here at the airbox connection. Either use a flathead screwdriver for this or an 8mm socket. Next up, we're going to loosen up the clamp here at the throttle body connection, again using a flathead screwdriver or an 8mm socket. With our two clamps loosened up, we're about ready to pull out the intake tube portion, but before we do, we have to go ahead and remove our PCV hose on the back here, push in on the gray clip, and pull back. At this point now, we can go ahead and remove our intake tube from the engine bay, releasing it from the throttle body, and then from the airbox. Next up, we need to remove the upper radiator valance here. There are 10 plastic clips holding this in place, so grab a trim removal tool, flathead screwdriver, whatever you have laying around. You're going to want to pop the top off this clip and then remove the clip itself. Now before we go ahead and remove our upper radiator valance, we do need to remove the hood latch release. To do so, you need a T15 Torx tool. With that removed, you can slide it off. With the latch out of the way, now you can remove your valance. The reason you removed your upper radiator valance is to gain access to this clip right here. Basically, you need to pop this guy out. With that clip removed, that'll allow you to pull back the snorkel just enough to get out of that stock airbox. Now we can go ahead and remove this 10mm nut down here, and that will be our first step in removing our stock airbox. Next up, we need to remove this wiring harness and clip from the airbox itself. It's actually attached to a bracket there. To do so, you could either use a small pick tool, flathead screwdriver to release the clip back here and then pull up. At this point, our stock airbox is ready to come out. Couple little tips here. You're gonna wanna push this out of the way, just kind of secure it underneath one of your hoses. And then also, there are two rubber grommets on the back side of the airbox. You don't wanna lose those.
First thing we need to do is transfer our mass airflow sensor from our stock system to our new system. We'll do that by removing the two bolts at the top of our mass airflow sensor using our T20 Torx bit. Now we can remove the factory gasket from the mass airflow sensor. Now we can install the supplied gasket and attach it with the two supplied screws and a Phillips head screwdriver. Now we can remove the top of the box from the lower part of the box using either a screwdriver or an 8mm socket. Now we can reinstall the lower part of the air box back into the truck as it will be used with the new system. Now, one thing you want to make sure when you install this lower portion of the box is that this inlet tube here connects to the lower part of the box in here. It's a little difficult to show you, but you'll get the picture once you start to install it. Then we can go ahead and attach our nut to the top and secure it with our 10mm socket. Now we can go ahead and install the top part of our box and secure it using the original hardware that came off of the stock system. Now we can tighten them all down using our 8mm socket and a couple of extensions. Now we can slip one of our larger clamps onto our hump connector and slip it onto the air filter. Now we can install the other clamp on the other side and slip our inlet tube into the connector. Now we'll slide a clamp over the top of the other connector, slide it onto the tube, and then slide our smaller clamp over the other end and slide it onto our throttle body. Now we can tighten all our clamps down using our 8mm socket. Now we can connect our supplied PCV hose. Now we'll reconnect our mass airflow connector. Push in the red tab to make sure it's locked. Now we can go ahead and make sure that our stock inlet tube is secured with the push pin. Now we can go ahead and reinstall our radiator cover and secure it using our original push pins. And now we can go ahead and reinstall our hood release handle. And we'll secure it with our T15 Torx bit.
That's going to do it for our review and install of the Corsa closed box air intake with the Drytech 3D dry filter for 2019 and newer 5.3 liter Silverado 1500s. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, for all things Silverado, be sure to stick with us right here at AmericanTrucks.com.